welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. Today we are looking at early signs and what to do to help somebody who may be going through some mental health challenges. That is what we're doing today. I hope you guys are ready. You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications of when I upload, and let's get into this topic. Let's start at the very bare minimum. What is mental health? Simple. It is our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps us determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and how we make choices in our life. So hopefully you can see that our mental health is just as important as our physical health. And I've been trying to say this for so long, and I think only in the last few years has this mindset really been shouting out loud, because for so long it's been more of a hush-hush thing. And that is because addressing our mental health, especially early, is so difficult, because the signs and symptoms, they're invisible, unlike most of the challenges we face physically when we're sick. Our mind, cognition, and emotions, they don't take a physical form, which makes it harder for people and doctors to observe. But the thing is, if it's left untreated, those with mental health illnesses are at an increased risk of harm and other health problems. Also, because they're invisible, for so long people did that hush-hush. A lot of people didn't think it really existed. Mental health, that's not a thing. It's in your head. That's what a lot of people said, and you wouldn't believe that a lot of people still say that. I've had a lot of people tell me that, even still to this day, and it infuriates me, but it happened. But that is because it is hard to observe, because I can't show you I'm sad. You may be able to see me frown, but that's it. You can't observe it in a petri dish and find a cure for it. It's not like a broken bone where I can say, look, this hurts, and you can fix it. That's the hard issue here. Now, when it comes to mental illness, there's not just one single cause. Instead, there's actually multiple, and they group them together and call them risk factors. And the more you have, the higher chance you are to developing a mental illness. Some come on gradually, and others are triggered by a stressful event. So what are these risk factors? Genetics, environmental factors, childhood trauma, stressful events, negative thoughts, unhealthy habits, drugs. Why does this always happen? Drugs and alcohol and brain chemistry, which you'd be surprised that brain chemistry plays a role in mental health. And I will be having a video on this quite soon. I am working on it. How common is mental health in the world and the US? In the US, it is 21%, or 52.9 million. But in the world, well, let's just say 1 in 4 people, or 450 million people. Yeah. The next time you're sitting there thinking, no one understands me, or I'm all alone, you are not alone. 1 in 4. Remember that. I need to remember that. Now let's get to those signs I promised you guys. And it's not just for people, it's for children and teens as well. I got my book, so let's begin. Unusual thinking, confusion and disorientation, destructive or high-risk behaviors, hallucinations, problems functioning in work or social life, restless, agitation, disorganization, decrease in activities, significant changes in mood, impairment in self-care, acts of SH, which if you don't know what that is, it's on the screen, or thoughts of taking their life, and delusions, pulling away from people and usual activities, smoking, drug use or drinking, inability to cope with daily problems or stress, inability to maintain relationships, excessive worrying or fear, feeling sad or low, isolation, changes in sleep pattern, low energy or feeling tired. Some of these next ones are going to be like really geared towards children and teens. So change in school performance, anxiety or worrying, such as fighting, avoiding bed or school, hyperactivity in behavior, nightmares, aggression and disobedience, temper tantrums. So those are some of the early signs you can look for when it comes to any type of mental illness or mental health disruptions. And having like one or two don't necessarily mean a mental illness or something's going on mentally, but a few happening together, you may want to seek help from a professional or your family doctor. So, for example, if a teenager is smoking, pulling away from people and usual activities, having problems maintaining relationships, having an inability coping with daily problems or stress, like being stressed out all the time, having aggression and disobedience, and having a change in school performances, something is going on. And you definitely want to work at trying to figure out what that is. And here in a little bit, I'm going to tell you some of the things you can do to figure that out. Now, are they guaranteed steps that are going to work? Probably not. But always seeking professional help or going to your family doctor for help is always the first step you want to do. Something's wrong. And if they're not going to you, always going to some kind of professional, as in a doctor, is always the first step, because you don't want it to go any further and them going down a darker path. Now, I'm going to give you a lot of numbers here, and I will be putting them on screen. But not only that, I am going to put them in the description box. So if you need to, you can read it there. If you don't want to read it on screen or you want to remember it for later, you can always go back to the description box to remember these. But I wanted to give them to you not only because I found them very interesting. They are when mental illnesses seem to develop. I wanted to give them to you because I feel like we tend to push aside mental health of kids and teens, saying it's rebellion or teenage angst, when, we never know, It could be something more, like I kind of just talked about. You may look at all that as teenage angst or rebellion, but I'm about to give you some numbers and you may rethink that. So, first off, mental health develops before the age of 14, 18, and 25. Let me explain. Research found that 34.6% of patients showed mental health disorders before the age of 14. It showed 48.4% of its patients showed disorders before the age of 18, and 62.5% by 25. Now, I want to reinforce that with another research I had found, and that research showed that 50% develop disorders by 14 years old and 75% by the age of 24. So similar in the sense that 14 and by the age of 25, these two are very important numbers. Now with that, I want to look at specific mental health disorders and kind of when they peak around. Okay? So, depression starts as early as 6 to 13. Anxiety has been shown to happen as early as 7 years old. Eating disorders, 12 years old. Schizophrenia starts showing around 20. OCD is again that 6 to 13 mark. SH, 12 to 16 years of age. Suicidal tendencies, as early as 9 and 10 years old. Can you believe that? And personality disorders, it begins in their teenage years, but as your personality develops and matures, these disorders become more developed, and I don't want to say easier to diagnose, but clearer, and they are more diagnosed above 18 because that's when your personality is more stable, and it makes it more stable to diagnose, if that makes sense. Now let's talk about checking in on someone. I'm going to read you a list of things you can do when you are checking in on somebody you suspect may be going through something, whether it's thinking of doing something harmful in any manner, or something like just being depressed or anxious or any form of mental health disorder. These are some of the things you can do. Again, I'm not saying that they're always gonna work, but we will get into that, okay? So the first thing is to always be prepared. How are you feeling? Because if you're not quick to handle what could happen, what could be said, it is not the right time. You have to be stable in your mental health at that time, to be able to take on that quest. Okay, we're gonna call it a quest. My gamer in me. You need to have the time. You can't just tackle it in 5 minutes. Maybe it will take 5 minutes, but maybe it'll take an hour. You can't put a timestamp on somebody's feelings and what they're going through. Maybe they need to vent and let all of it out. You don't know what they're going to tell you, so you need to have the time. Are you genuinely ready to listen? Are you in a place where you are you in a place, in a way, accepting to hear what that person is going to say? Now, when I say accepting, and I say this in my physical health videos, just because I say accepting, don't mean you have to like it. Means you are understanding with what is happening, and you're going to do what you need to move on from this situation and figure out how to handle it. It don't mean like, yay, I like this, like, yes, I am happy I have this, I'm happy this is happening. No. Acceptance doesn't mean I have to like it. It is just meaning, okay, this is happening. I understand it. Like for me, I have Crohn's. I'm not shouting from the rooftops. I'm so happy I developed Crohn's disease because it's tearing out my insides, okay? And I've had 18 surgeries. I am happy I have it. No. I understand I have it. At this point, I am not fighting it. I'm doing what I need to in my capability to manage it, to control it. I'm not depressed. I'm not down on myself. I'm in a state of, okay, that is what it is. Are you genuinely ready to listen to them? Are you going to accept that that is how they're feeling and you cannot change that? Are you ready to listen? Number 2, right time and place. Be in a quiet, comfortable, and private place and sit face to face with them. Or if you know you're going to be walking around, pacing, if you can't, sit down because you know you're going to be kind of anxious, go for a walk. because maybe that walk might be easier for both you and them. Number 3, start the conversation in an open way, because talking about mental health can be nerve-wracking because it is such a sensitive topic. So start out with, how have you been lately? Don't go in directly and aggressively, start off simple and easy. And number 4, be specific about what you feel concerned about. Say something like, I've noticed that you haven't seemed yourself lately. Is there anything you'd like to talk about? And 5, let them know you're listening and be mindful of body language. You have no idea how important body language is. I didn't know how important body language was until I was, I hate saying this, but forced to be put in DBT. This group has, oh my God, been so important. I'm understanding my BPD so much more, and we touched on body language and things like having your arms crossed. I already knew is being closed off, but so is crossing your legs is being closed. Things like the way you place your arms. If you have your arms to your side, this is a very open position. This is very closed. This is saying I really don't care. I don't care really what you have to say. I'm not interested. But sitting here, leaning in softly, saying, what is going on? I'm here to listen. You haven't been yourself lately. What can I do? That is letting them know that you've noticed them and that you are there for them and that you're there to listen. You're leaning in. You know what I mean? That you're open body language, that you're there, that you have the time because you're there and you're listening, or you're going for a walk with them, that you're putting in that time. I think I said, so I'm going to say this a little later, but gestures, we feel like nobody cares about us, and I'm sure you're going to sit there and say that, well, they know we love them. Well, of course, we know you love us, but we're at times stuck in our heads, and it's a warped reality of darkness, and everything's the opposite, and rainy, and putting in that gesture, going for that walk and taking that time, leaning in and saying, we got the time, talk to me, I'm here to listen, writing that note saying, hey, I love you, is there anything I can do, come talk to me whenever. That is letting us know that you love us, that you're there, that's that open body language, that you're there to listen. And put the phone away. Yes, I forgot to mention that. Put the phone away, because as soon as you bring that phone out, we automatically know you don't care. You'd rather be somewhere else. Listen without judgment. This is so important, because don't interrupt. Let them take their time. How long have you been feeling this way? Ask them that. And remember, they didn't choose to feel this way. Stay calm. If they get upset, let them know you're asking because you love them. If they deny, don't criticize them. Don't take it personal. Tell them you'd like to talk about this some other time and that you're there to listen. That is your main reason why you're there. And follow up and be patient. Remind them to seek professional help, and do not leave them to deal with it alone. Be there. Your whole thing when you're checking in on somebody is without judgment, because again, that's how they're feeling. You cannot deny somebody how they feel. You also can't change somebody for how they feel. Non-judgment. I thought you were doing fine. I thought statements. Look up judgmental statements. Remember, they may completely not want to talk to you, and that may 100% happen. In that instance, and you think something is going on, do not ignore your signs. Talk to somebody. Talk to a professional. Again, go to the family doctor. There's a few do's and don'ts I want to share with you guys. Do say things like, I am here for you. Think about your family. Name individuals. I'm saying this because when I was in the BHU, Behavioral Health Unit, I had just recently tried to do some harmful things to myself. I don't know how to say it. Okay, I'll put it on the screen, okay? And my dad said to me something that actually had me crying. And he told me that, I didn't think about what my actions would do to the people back home. For those who are watching who are new, I'm from New York, okay? That's what this necklace right here is about. I just got it for my birthday. I have family that I love really dearly there. He said I didn't think about them. I didn't think what it would do to him, my dad. I didn't think about what it would do to my uncles that love me so much. And my aunts, my sisters, how they would feel if I would have succeeded. I didn't think about that. He said he wasn't mad at me. He didn't understand. He was disappointed that I didn't think about that. And when he said that, he was right, because I felt like, in my mind, nobody cared. In my mind, the world would be better off. In my mind, yes, everybody says, well, why would you want to hurt your family like that? But in my mind, again, well, why would everybody want me to be in so much pain? Because when you're hurting, whether it's depression, PTSD, any mental health illness, when you're hurting, you're really hurting. I mean, sometimes I'm hurting, it's almost as bad as when I'm having physical pain from my Crohn's disease. And I'm like, so why would my family and everybody want me to be in so much pain? So that's why I did it, That's what I told my dad. No, that is not okay. Because they love you. There's a way out. There's medications that can help. There's ways to manage it. There's resources. Your family. Give them that support system they need. I have a video on support systems. I'm like getting emotional here because of all that. But, remind them. Remind them why. Because they're stuck in that world. I told you that warped reality that I was in, where that darkness, they're in that pain. You gotta help them out of it. Do not say, I know how you feel, or get over it. And do not ignore the signs, and do not keep it a secret. These signs are always gonna be there. There is a case, for instance, I forget the name. My mom told me about it. This was a few weeks ago. But the kids, they in the family, they remember their dad. He was always sad and stuff, but they never really paid attention to it. I forget what mental illness he had, but he ended up doing something very bad. You can figure it out. But when they looked back at the tapes and everything, they saw that he was sad all the time. The signs are always there. If you look hard enough, if you pay attention, signs are always there. It's only up to you to pay attention and do something. Some of you may say, well, yeah, but if they don't want to talk about it, if they don't want to do something about it, yeah, it is also up to people like me and with those of us with mental health problems as well. Yes, they may also try to tell you in their own way, and you may just not pick up on it. So just pay attention. I think I'm going to end it on that. Let me know if any of these help you. Let me know if you have any other signs you think should belong on that list I said earlier, or the tips on how to address somebody you love. List them in the comment section down below, or any do's or don'ts you wanted to add in the comment section down below. Harley Bug, thank you guys so much for watching. I need to let a cat out of my room, so desperately. I'll see you guys. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.